Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Montego Ramon here, man. Back with another video with the Risers X channel, where we rise to the occasion. And man, look, bro, we just gonna keep it real. We did not have a great week trading this week. Marcus was whooping my ass. We had a few good trades and then got caught up in some nonsense. Some mistakes were made. Let's just say that. Mistakes were made. Doesn't matter. You know, we're here. We're going to document the journey and continue documenting the journey because this is just what comes with it. You know what I mean? And as we continue to learn and grow, continue to just learn and grow overall. I'm going to wipe my entire charts clean. Gonna wipe my entire charts clean real quick because we still have a job to do and we're on a mission, right? So I want to start with this. This is what I want to start with. Where my favorites at? There we go. I want to start with this. Man, I think I want to start with kind of like what are my I want to start with like the major goal for trading, right? Not for Russia, trading. Basically my goal is to master trading the markets to the point where I am where I am consistently making $1 million deposits into my investment account every single week. Taking at least one trade a week. Period. That's all I need, guys. I don't need nothing else. I just need one trade a week, and that's all we need to do. Let's talk about this. That's the major goal, right? That's what I see myself being able to do with this, right? And eventually, I'll go on to become a billionaire, right? Dead ass serious though. And so, like, to be able to do this, right, is literally. It only takes this. It takes mastering and executing one solid setup a week. That's it. I just need one, and that's it. I need one solid setup. It could be 1 to 3, 1 to 4, risk to reward, one solid setup. Somewhere between a 1 to 3 to a 1 to 5 1 to 5 setup, 1 to 5 RR setup, and that's it. That's all we need. That's literally all we need, bro. And so I don't need much else. I don't need much else. We need let's say that's it. You don't really need anything else. I don't need a bunch of setups. I don't need to know a bunch of information. It's like the same trade. I'll say this too. The same trade, it takes trade setup. It takes to make, you know, $100, or I'll say $50. $50 is the same trade setup it takes to make $1 million. A lot of people don't know that. The biggest challenge for me right now, that once I overcome this, I will achieve my goal with ease. With these is, I'm gonna say, 1, being patient enough to wait on the setup to execute the setup with proper risk management and staying out of any trades until then. Period. That is it. That is all. That's our biggest, strongest problem or challenge. And it's like, once you're able to do that, now this stops you from losing so much. This helps you keep the profits you make. This teaches you patience. This teaches you to only take that setup. This is how you start to really compound your account and take quality trades and setups. I wrote down some things I'm going to talk about in this video, which I really wasn't talking about this, but I wanted to start with this so just people know, like, hey man, this is what we doing. Eventually I see myself up 10 M's, living in a penthouse, probably got a farm, a few race cars, I got my lady, and we traveling the world having a blast, and I'm posting crazy content for y'all. And y'all got to see the whole journey. So let's just talk about this past week's performance. So this past week, we had this major move right here. This wasn't last week. This was the week before that. So this was July 29th, right? This was on a Wednesday in the middle of the week. This thing ran up to this point, which is a week, basically. And then this week, we didn't make any major moves, right? We didn't make any major moves like that. What time is it? It's 30. We didn't really make any major moves like that. And so I think I got kind of lost in that as well. We had a slight pullback. So let's see, where did this week start? This week started here. This is Sunday. So this week started here. This is all the movement we got. We had one. This is our biggest move right here, which was started on, what day is this? Tuesday. We found a low. And then we ran up to this level, which isn't shit. That's a huge move. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That's really a big move. It don't look that big. That's kind of a big move, guys. After touching in here, selling off, even one of these moves is nice. Like if you catching this high right here and then selling off and then, all right, my bad, got distracted. So yeah, these are some pretty nice moves, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Do I like these? This is probably a solid sell right here. Right, maybe this is a solid sell. You try to catch a short here as it filled these gaps. Maybe I had my stops up here. I don't like this trade because it's a counter trend trade, but you could have caught a, nope, that is not a good trade. I don't like that. Even if I go down to the 1 hour. Even if I go down to the 1 hour, you got this. Just with this being a level of support here, taking it back down into this level of lower resistance, taking this back down into this level of support, that was kind of huge. And then taking this low. I remember getting in this trade. That was last week though. This is a whole new week. What is this? It's Monday. Monday we had sales. Tuesday we turned around. What I'm seeing here too is I'm liking how last week I'm catching turnarounds on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Market starts trending one way, then it start going into the other direction. Then my thing is here is like, what is causing this turnaround? Like, we went from one high to the next. Simple. Okay. Maybe we have a, nope, I see nothing. Even if I go to the 4 hour. We have a fair value gap in here. That's huge. That's huge right there. So like I said, y'all always see me. I'm going to point out the fair value gaps. That's a huge trade going into new highs. Do we have anything to support that over here? Only thing we have over here supporting this is the fact that we have a resistance zone up here. We have a level of resistance above these levels. So you had this level here. You had this level. Right, so I'm gonna mark these out. I'm gonna mark these out, boom. And then you can see we're still kind of using that, smashing through these levels, making higher, came at this high, came and made a higher low, then we came and made a basically a lower high, then we made a higher low, and then we basically kind of made this, I would call this a higher high because it's higher than this previous high right here. And as we're starting to trend up, we're breaking levels. And if I had to kind of give y'all that, we got a small downtrend right here before we started to continue really going up in the overall trade. You know what I'm saying? So, and then we broke those levels and then came right into this level, which the reason why I want to show you all this is because it's just to show week in and week out that keeping trading simple down to understanding the trends and market structure, and then also and watching the support and resistance levels, right? So I was listening to a guy talk today. He was just talking about how trends are just breaking and retesting. Break and retest. You break a level of support or resistance. It means coming back to retest that level, basically turning that resistance to support or turning support into resistance, right? So in this case right here, what it did was it turned this level of resistance, right? It turned this level of resistance right here where price had rejected from previously into a level of support as it smashed through it right here. Smashed through this level of resistance, right? And then turned that into support, right? Came back up here again, rejected from that level, came right here, rejected from this level again. Basically, so we probably can expect price to get another rejection and then go to highs, right? And then we probably can expect another rejection here if price doesn't smash straight through this level of resistance here, right? And then, let's see. And then we can eventually expect a pullback. It could pull back even further, but eventually we want to start seeing price create structure to start to break above this level and then get to this next level as we turn this level into potential support and resistance level, right? Or a level of support, something like that, right? And you see that's kind of been a repeated pattern. And then this is our next level. These are our next levels of resistance right here that we want to see price continue to break as we are starting to make these moves higher, right? So we just got to continue to watch for those levels. And this is simple. It's simple. Be like, as you are coming through marking out your chart, you need to be aware of these levels. You need to be aware of these levels because these are potential areas where you probably need to exit your trade or be looking for price to start to create structure for you to find an entry or price to reverse, things like that. So you're protecting your capital. You understand where to, you need to be looking to take profit potentially. You understand where to set stop losses and things like that, right? It's super important. So this is what I think is going to happen going into the coming weeks, things like that. Probably get a rejection from this level, something like that. We could always potentially pull back further and then get back above, still use those levels and really just start to take off. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm seeing, guys. And so I want to kind of go through a little bit of my kind of trading performance this week. Really, all I can say is that a lot of times my biggest issue has been being impatient on the trades, right? And then I think another confusing aspect is like sometimes I try to over anticipate where price is trying to go, right? So me seeing this right here, this move right here, watch this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing price reject this level. Boom. I see we came up and make this higher low. After making this, I'm like, maybe we can get down to here. And I'm seeing this structure too. So I'm like, maybe we can get, there's still, even with that being said, there's still no justification of why price would break below this level. It's still holding this, right? And so I should have been watching this. Right? I should have been watching for this level. We're already in the overall uptrend. You know what I mean? So I think overall, like in hindsight, it looks so easy and simple, but sometimes when you're in the midst of it, you just don't know what price was going to do. You know what I mean? A lot of times I was trying to overhold, like maybe even here, I was trying to overhold after we made this higher low. I'm like, maybe we probably about to shoot right up to this level, or I'm trying to, whatever it is, right? And so overall, I'm like, man, a lot of my mistakes this week were just totally uncalled for. You know what I mean? And then in a lot of cases, I wasn't trying to wait on a trend pullback to go with the trend, right? So what I mean by that in this case, right, I should not have been looking to take sales. This right here, this is a no-no. Delete it. I should have been looking for pullbacks and structure being created to go higher, right? That would make more sense. Sometimes I allowed things like this little move here, right, to potentially fake me out of my trade, right? So we got this pullback. I'm gonna get this out the way. As well. So we got this pullback here, right? This is a pullback. I'll draw it again. This is a pullback in the overall trend right here. This is a pullback right here. When we came down to this area, this is a pullback. Now I would have been looking to enter potentially from this higher time frame, which I don't typically execute off the 4 hour, but there's a gap here. And I would have waited on price to try to fill that gap. But let's go down to the 1 hour to see if we had something a little different. So in our 1 hour, this was a perfect entry right here. This was a great entry. We probably had better entries down here, but this was a great entry right here. For a long. This is a great entry right here for a long. This is a great entry. Yeah, you would have been holding on that market open. You probably would have been holding a little bit. What's important is that you can see that price didn't make it all the way down here, but to where the 4-hour gap was, but there's this 1 hour fair value gap inside here, right? And so you got a full fill right here, full fill, right? And then you had the opportunity for a, you know, to get that 1 to 3 trade, right? Because we would have waited. You had this one, which probably might not have been the best. This would have been a decent entry too, to take that to up to here or something, back to this level of resistance here, right? Boom, this is a 1 hour level of resistance. Nice trade. Would have got you a 3, about a 1 to 4 roughly, right? 1 to 5 roughly, just taking it to this level of resistance right here. I'm just taking it to the bodies. I'm not even trying to get to the wicks. That's an easy trade. It even swept this area too, coming above these highs, right? Coming above these highs. And then immediately sold off, which you could have had that trade if you wanted to. But for the most part, we don't want to take counter trend trades because price moves a little funny when dealing with counter trend trades. I don't like it. You can take some, but I don't like it. Because a lot of times it's automatic that once we reach a high and take out a previous high, we're going to sell off a lot of times. But after we pull back into this area, which this is probably an order block, and I didn't even know it, or a potential area, a demand area. I don't think so. I think it was way down here. But basically, this gap right here that was created, price came back to this area and bought up again. You know, we got some rejections here. Then we got a crazy shoot up, right? So if you wanted to take this trade again, because we had this previous rejection from, y'all can't, I don't know if y'all see that wick from this black candle, but the wick is there. There's this long black stick that comes down here, guys, right? That's the wick of this black candle, right? And then you got price coming down here on this white candle with the wick. This candle showing, this black candle here is a bullish candle showing that basically there's a potential reversal because of the candle shape. And then from there, we go to highs. We go to highs, go to new highs, right? So if you wanted to take this, could have took this up to a new level of resistance, just sticking with the trend, huge, massive trade. Probably had stops around this same level, potentially. Could have got a 1 to 7 or something greater. You know what I mean? And there was also the chance that price could have came down further and held this gap, but everything was clean back into these levels. So to come down, we would have wanted to see a fair value gap somewhere in here, right? We would have wanted to see a fair value gap somewhere in here, which we didn't get. I'm just drawing this out. We would have wanted to see it right there, something like that, for price to have a pullback and then come lower, right, into these levels. But we didn't get that. We had the gap down here for the pullback to go higher, and that's exactly what price did, right? And so that's how NQ went. And this is what we could potentially saw out of it. Overall, everything we needed was there to take these trades, to go with the man, this is so important. I just made mistakes that I'm like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not harboring over the mistakes. I'm just like, what can I do? What more can I do? So that there's certain rules I need to follow, right? And then I'm just like, what more can I do to ensure that I'm paying attention to this? Because a lot of times I got caught up trying to take counter trend trades. I'm like, okay, maybe price want to sell off because we had this crazy buy up here, And price is not ready to go down into this range yet. I think we'll have to have some significant breaks before we do that, right? Because it's not ready to come back into these levels yet. It came down, but overall prices, we finished this week higher than the previous week, right? So that means that prices continuing higher as we go back from Monday. This is where the open is on Sunday, right? This is where the open is, right here, down here, and then we finished up here, right? That's how many points is that? So if we open Sunday, say where we open Sunday, first hour, 6 o'clock my time. 6 o'clock my time. The low is open is at 29,869. We finished the week high. We had a week high of 30,283. So we finished roughly 400 or 500 points higher than what we opened. So there's a good bit of fluctuation, but overall we finished higher, which is good to know. So I think next week we could probably expect a pullback. We'll probably get some rejection. I think we'll get some rejection for price to go pull back. You see we got a fair value gap here. Right, we got this, and then we have this massive area down here for price to pull back into, right? So we're already inside of a fair value gap. So this could be a massive area for a major area that we could get a rejection. You pull back into here, reject out of here, start creating some structure up. And start to go to new highs. We got next levels up here, right? So we could see, I can see us breaking this level, getting a retest, starting to create some structure, uptrending structure to get to these next levels. So I think pretty much this is what I expected from this week too. I expected us to go higher. I did not expect us to sell off. I expected us to continue higher. I wanted to watch for news. Even though we had CPI, PPI, I think everything came out mostly worse than expected, but we still went higher for some reason, which I need to kind of look into and understand why. And I guess with everything finishing lower than expected, it means that the cost of things are down, and that's going to send the market up, right? Because the cost of things are coming down, the market is up, and so that's why they held rates, because they don't need to. We're thriving under the current rate, so they like, the economy is doing well, we can hold, right? So if they wanted to stop things, slow things down, they would do rate hikes, right? If they wanted to cause some monetary easing, they would drop rates, right? Make money cheaper. But we're doing well at this rate, so that to me that makes sense why the market would go up. And what I'm referring to is CPI year over year, CPI month over month, and then PPI year over year and PPI month over month. CPI is just referring to cost. Let me see. Let's go to Forex Factory. And then what I actually want to do is we're just going to Google CPI. CPI is Consumer Price Index, right? Consumer Price Index, bringing the annual inflation rate. The Consumer Price Index, what is CPI? Let's talk about this. Let's do it like that. What is CPI? CPI is a vital economic measure that tracks the average change over time in prices paid by urban consumers for market basket of consumer goods and services. So like I was saying, CPI, dang, I really just made that connection, y'all. I haven't really, y'all just watched me do that in real time. I really haven't, I understood it as far as like, oh, it's going to send the market either up or down. But now I didn't know, like, based on the data that we get back, which was worse than expected in this last past week, does that send the market up? Is that a bad, or is that good? But if it's coming down and it's red, that's good for us. That means prices are coming down, right? We've seen gas prices drop a little bit. They were high. I think they were higher than this, but they've been coming down. That's one indication, and that would make sense for the market to go up, right? This is good for investors. It's good for us. And traders. Really, traders, it don't matter. You trading that thing anywhere it go. You follow. You just want to know the direction. That's it. But this helps us understand the direction better. I got a splinter in my hand, in my finger that's been there since I left the island of South Padre. I gotta get it out. I pulled it out, but I ain't pulled it all the way out. I didn't know it till like later on. But yeah. How CPI works. The market baskets. It tracks representative sample of everyday items separated into major groups like food, housing, clothing, transportation, medical care, and recreation. Measuring inflation. When the overall CPI goes up, it indicates inflation. Prices are rising and purchase power drops. When it goes down, it indicates deflation. Prices are falling. God damn. Yo, we A. Look, this is game. This is gold right here, yo. This is fucking gold. So now we know. I gotta tell you about some other news I found out too. I was listening to a guy talk about options trading, and he was talking about how he trades QQQ. Basically, he does options. He does QQQ, which is out at the NASDAQ ETF. And what he was saying is that 11 of the last 12 trading days at 2:45 p.m. when FOMC spoke, QQQ just dumped. And he has an 85% win rate doing that right now over the last 12 trades, 11 of 12 trades. That's what it does. And what he was saying is that this happens 8 times a year. And so that's huge. This is important data that we know and we can expect to be able to win trades, right? To be able to know where the market is going, because that's really what, once you understand the overall direction, it's really simple, you know what I'm saying, to trade, you know what I mean? Like, because it's like a cheat code, you know what I mean? Like, you got the data, you know how the data works. Now you can just, like, because look, when that data came out, like, okay, let's go back real quick. When that data came out, watch this. Let's go to calendar. Watch this, y'all. As soon as it load. Watch this. When this data came out, I'm hitting none, USD, apply filter. This is past week. Let's see. I want to say it might have been Thursday. So this core CPI, nothing changed that day. We just stayed in place, guys, that day. When CPI, core CPI, things came out that day. But when core PPI came out, and CPI unemployment claims, everything was, so unemployment claims had went up, PPI was worse than expected, and then core CPI was worse than expected. So it was core PPI. Okay, let me see what PPI is first of all. Let's go to PPI. What is PPI? Let's do that one. What is PPI? So pixels per. No. What is PPI in financial markets? In financial markets. Producer Price Index is a key economic indicator that measures the average change over time in the selling prices received by domestic producers for their goods and services. What are y'all saying right now? It stands for producer price. It is indicator that measures the average change over time in selling prices. So selling prices are down. Okay. Wholesale inflation tracks price changes per producer wholesale level before leading indicator. Because rising production and material costs are often passed down, analysts view the PPI as an early warning sign of future consumer inflation. Scope. Man, we want to know how it affects the market. What is the market? How does it, and how does it work? Yeah, cool. Okay. They're not really. Hold on. So, government agencies like survey says companies waiting. Individual prices are weighted based on the readings often cause bond yields to rise, stock prices to fall, higher than expected readings. Let's see. It was by tracking price. How to know if PPI is inflationary or deflation. Bro, why are they giving me the runaround like this? Like, they kept it simple with PPI, but damn, with this, like, bro, come on, like, what y'all doing? All right, watch this. This might be it. To know if it's inflation or deflation, look at the monthly percentage change in index. A rising PPI, a positive change percentage, means producer prices are going up, which is inflationary. That means a falling PPI is a negative percentage, means prices are going to drop, which is deflationary. And then we got rising headline core. If the overall PPI or core PPI, which includes volatile increases in month over month or year over year, suppliers are charging more. Upward stage or processing pressure, negatively recognizing deflationary signal. Negative monthly prints. A negative reading means average prices received by producers fell from the previous period. Large drops in sub-indexes like industrial commodities, metals, or wholesale act as immediate deflationary forces for manufacturing inputs. Okay, so this, without saying it, basically what they're saying is that, like, if prices drop, expect the indexes to rise. Like, why don't just say that, bruh? Like, how to know if it's inflationary for indexes? I gotta get real specific for this, boy. That's how you know this data important, because they don't even want to get it to you straight, bro. Bro, just say it. Like, all right, y'all. I gotta cut this video, man. That's all I got for y'all right now. As of right now, man, I'll be back with another video. But we like I said, we wanted to touch on that. I think the NASDAQ is going to probably dip into this major area here before we rise. But obviously, we're gonna let the market determine that, which way we're gonna go. I don't expect the market to take off right away. I expect to give the market a few days to settle coming in next week. And really, guys, the goal really is to take one solid trade a week, and find a really good setup. This would have been a very good day to trade. Really, since that Tuesday, that would have been a really good time to trade. This day was a really good time to trade. If we would have caught that news ahead of time, then we would have known, oh, this is about to send the market up. We need to be looking for buys, right? Looking for a pullback to get into buys. Perfect area of support right here for the trade during this area of consolidation. As we were pulling back and rejecting, they just basically catching orders to fill the huge influx that's about to come in, right? So that means these are large orders of pace. That means they probably knew about this a long time ago, honestly, because we came back into this area, swept this low. It's just a bunch of manipulation going on, guys, to really fill orders and create more liquidity in the markets for these major moves right here, guys. That's it. So it's your boy Montego Ramon, man. Y'all know what I'm on, man. We here with the Risers X channel, where we rise to the occasion. I hope you guys some real gems out of that today. And hey, man, y'all enjoy y'all weekend, guys. I'm grinding all weekend. Hopefully y'all are too, or enjoying your family and loving on yourself, guys. Peace.